There's an undeniable framework on how to succeed in anything you do. And I know that that sounds like I'm holding a crystal ball and here I am going to give you this answer that like nobody else knows. No. Sometimes it's easier to actually follow and take the steps necessary with the right mindset to actually achieve whatever it is you want to achieve. Now, obviously, guess what? Not all of us are going to be able to be an Olympic gold medalist like Michael Phelps because we just don't have the same body composition. I mean, I'm 5'6". It just ain't going to happen. However, if you want to achieve certain things that are literally based on just practice, effort, and mindset, then there is indeed a framework, and I'm gonna go through that framework right now. The first is focus. Now, it seems like a simple concept, but really, here's the main thing, and I'm gonna use Michael Jordan as an example here. If you focus on one single thing, you have a higher chance of achieving success there. It's just like a magnifying glass. You can focus, just even that little bit of sunlight into a single point. It becomes extremely hot and can burn almost anything. Now, same thing with a needle. As soon as you focus the same amount of pressure on that small little area, the amount of force is through the roof, basically. So now the same thing applies in anything you do in your life. If you get 1% better at something every single day, it'll start going parabolic. If you focus on one single thing, you will actually start succeeding exponentially compared to everybody else. And so a good example is Michael Jordan, like I said. The guy focused on basketball. He climbed that Mount Everest. He became the best of the best. He did not try to become the best football player at the same time. He did not try to go do and be the best swimmer at the same time. He focused on one single thing. Now, you might be wondering, how can I just pick something and how can I focus on it? Well, that's where you need to have unwavering belief in what you're doing is the way. And another thing you need to be prepared with is that you are going to have days where you are bored. You are going to have days where you I think I achieved enough in this one particular area. I'm going to move on and chase all these shiny objects. That's not the way to succeed. You have to keep climbing the hump because you might have reached even a plateau, or maybe you're going up incrementally, but you're not going to hit that hockey stick, that parabolic growth and success unless you stick through even the boring times. The second thing is coaching. Now, even Michael Jordan had a coach because it takes somebody from a different vantage point to be able to look at you from the side view and see what you're doing to then critique and make you better. Eventually, as human beings, we might get comfortable with certain ways of doing things. He might have had a certain posture before he took a shot that was not conducive to making him be able to do 100 of those shots in the time frame that he needed to. And his coach could notice it. His coach could notice when he was slacking just a little bit, inadvertently. He himself could not, because he did not have the perspective and the vantage point that his coach did. And similarly, that's how it works with real estate. That's how it works with entrepreneurship. That's how it works with almost anything. You cannot always see yourself from a different perspective and angle. You need a coach to be able to ask you the difficult questions you sometimes don't even realize you need to ask yourself. And you have to have a coach that can notice things about what you're doing that you can't tell from where you're standing. And having somebody to push you forward and keep you accountable is a recipe for success. Every single Olympic athlete has a coach. And for that reason, I believe that the same applies elsewhere in life. You don't get extra points or a better award for doing it on your own. You don't get to have more pride and feel more successful for, going through the school of hard knocks on your own. Although that is cool. Congratulations if that's what you're doing. But that doesn't get you to the finish line any faster. And guess what? Most people will ultimately not care what you did to get there. Ultimately, most of the time, people look at what you got done and how does that benefit them? So the point of this isn't to be like, hey, you should go to Active Duty Passive Income and check out our coaching programs. Although that is an awesome way to kind of hit the ground running and learn from all of our mistakes and all of our successes. What my point is if you want to become a real estate investor, you have to find somebody that can push you forward and somebody that will coach you to be better. The third thing is being a big fish in a little pond. And what I mean by that is you want to be the one that can stand out even in a small pond. A lot of us falsely assume that you need to be in a big crowd and you need to stand out there, and then that's how you're going to achieve great success. Although that may come down the road, that's not how you achieve success, because the likelihood of you being triumphant in a large pool or a large pond, so to speak, is actually a lot lower. So why not stack the cards in your favor and tackle a small pond and become the dominant force, the person that is known for whatever it is you're focusing on there. Then that gives you something that you cannot buy anywhere, and it's called confidence and competence. You'll get confidence because you will be known in that small pond, and then you will get competence because you're going to continue repeating what you're doing, and practice makes perfect. You can get better and better and better. And then you can jump into another pond afterwards. After you climb your Mount Everest, after you have focused so much that you've achieved undeniable success and people start knowing you, because that is how you're also going to build your brand. Your personal identity will be an overlap of the niche you're focusing on in that little pond and who you are as a person. You're going to pick two things, as Brandon Turner says, and you're going to become the overlap of those two things. That's what people are going to know you for. Maybe you're a military real estate investor in San Antonio that's focused on creative financing. So you're going to be that military real estate investor in San Antonio. You're picking a small pond, San Antonio, not the entire United States. Now, granted, San Antonio is still a big pond, but when you overlap those two things, you really are making a name for yourself, and you're focusing your brand, your identity on becoming that big fish in a very narrow pond. The smaller the pond, the greater chance you have of becoming a big fish in that pond. And then, because you worked on your identity and your branding, your personal branding, people will know you for that thing. And you will be top of mind, and opportunities will come to you almost magnetically. And here's a bonus thing that'll happen with all those three things happening at the same time. If you focus on one thing, if you have a good coach, and if you become the big fish in the little pond and work on creating your personal brand and identity in that pond, something magical will happen. People refer to this sometimes as the reticular activating system getting turned on. You can call it the law of attraction. You can call it whatever you want, but what's going to start happening is you're going to start noticing things that you never noticed, because people are going to start noticing you as the brand authority, even in that little pond, and they're going to start hearing about you in other ponds, and you're going to start noticing things that you never noticed before. Just like when you buy a certain car, all of a sudden it seems like you see that same car, same color everywhere. That phenomenon is going to happen in your life, and you are going to start becoming a magnet. Things will just happen. People will want to get to know you, and you will start achieving real success. It's not necessarily measurable always in data, but you will become an authority and somebody that is sought after, somebody that is recognized, respected, and remembered. Now, if you're in the military and you want to get into real estate investing, what I described is literally the 3 ingredients to making sure you're successful in any real estate investing you choose. You need to not be afraid to pick a real estate niche and focus on achieving your goals and not getting distracted until you get to them. And then you also need to be okay with having a coach. And lastly, you need to focus on becoming the big fish in the little pond, which is really why active duty passive income became what it is. We have our own community of military real estate investors where you can learn to brand yourself and be a big fish in one of our little ponds, and then branch out from there. Work on your own brand, your own identity, and become an authority in the space. Don't try to go become that in the whole world or in the entire United States of America. Focus on becoming the subject matter expert in an overlap of 2 things and become the authority in your space. That's how you're going to achieve success. That's how you're going to become an amazing entrepreneur, real estate investor during or after the military. And that's how ADPI can help you. So if you want to help our mission, check us out at activedutypassiveincome.com. Give this video a like and a share. And if you can, even subscribe. All right, Mark Jan Sitch is out. Take care. Bye.